Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you all. Today, I want to share with you a little Christmas story about a time a sports team wanted to get fans into the building so badly that they were willing to give free tickets to anybody who arrived to the arena dressed as Santa Claus. The issue, though, is that they didn't really think this through. Having a whole bunch of fans show up in basically disguises can lead to a bit of chaos. And one group of friends would take advantage of this free ticket promotion to have a little bit of fun and cause a prank on the ice. So this is the story of the Santa Brawl. And I hope if you enjoy it, you will like, subscribe, and maybe send it to a friend who might find it interesting as well. So let's get into the story. So sports teams have always tried to think outside of the box in order to put butts in their seats. There have been times where teams have offered promotions with beers being only 10 cents, which of course, as the crowd kept drinking and the team was losing on the field, would result in a riot. The Chicago White Sox once tried a disco demolition night in response to disco music going viral across America and rock fans being quite angry about it, so they invited a radio DJ who was notorious for liking rock music over disco music and told fans that they could get in for free if they brought a disco record that could be destroyed live on the field.
And this is how I do it. I have to kind of get worked up a little bit, and then I just... Oh, that felt good.
Which, of course, once again would result in a riot. Now, both of these incidents had taken place in the 70s, where it was commonplace for fans of the team to storm the field after a big win or after a championship, yet by the 2000s, the on-field celebrations had kind of fizzled out, especially when people became more concerned about the security in these stadiums. But just 2 days before Christmas in 2003, the New York Islanders decided to have a promotion where they would invite fans onto the ice as long as they were dressed as Santa Claus. Now, why the hell would they do this? Well, the New York Islanders at the time were probably the worst run organization in all of sports. They had sold to a con man back in the 90s. They had changed their jerseys to be basically the Gordon Fisherman logo, which of course drew a lot of hatred from the fans as well. They had a GM who kept making horrible trades and trading away all these guys who would become future All-Stars. And the guy who will be playing goaltender for them on this night will actually be the general manager in just a couple of years. So this was a team that not a lot of people were going out of their way to watch. On average, 2,000 less people were showing up per game. So the whole organization was worried and needed something that would sell their big game right before Christmas. And with a lot of college-age kids returning home after their semesters up at school, those games are usually the most well-attended outside of the playoffs. So when the ticket sales weren't there, everybody in the Islanders organization knew they needed something good. So they would post on their website and spread the word through the newspaper and say if you showed up dressed as Santa Claus, you would get a free ticket and you could go on the ice during the intermission. And shortly after they posted it, a recent high school graduate and Long Island native, Andy Frances, who actually happens to be a YouTuber on the platform nowadays, would tell all of his friends, "We got something to do tonight." The issue, they had to figure out where to get Santa Claus costumes as quick as possible. So Andy thinks quick on his feet and tells all of his friends they just have to worry about getting red pants. It doesn't matter if it's from the back of the closet or from their mom's closet, they just need red pants. Meanwhile, Andy will go all around town looking for whatever Santa costumes he can dig up. Eventually, Andy stumbles into an old pharmacy where there are a whole bunch of old janky Santa costumes just laying around. He tells the clerk that he will take all of them and races back home and tells his friends to meet him there. And I think right now is a good time to mention that not all of Andy's friends are Islander fans. In fact, some of them actually root for the Islanders' biggest rival, the New York Rangers. So two of Andy's Ranger friends, Rob and Mike, decide it might be funny to pull a little prank against the Islanders on their own ice. They realize that if they put their Ranger jerseys on underneath their Santa costume, nobody can really notice it. So they can just get some free tickets from their rivals, get to go on their rival's ice, and then rip off the Santa costume to reveal the Ranger jersey while they stomp across the Islanders logo on the ice. It's a genius prank to pull at a time where the rivalry was at an all-time high, with one particular incident involving Theo Fleury, a player for the Rangers, doing the chicken dance on the Islanders' home ice. But there was a bit of danger in doing this, because a rivalry this deep has not only transpired on the ice, but it has also transpired in the stands, where it sometimes is just as physical. So Mike and Rob were well aware that they might be leaving the arena with a bruise that night. But they figured that if anything went wrong, they were there with all of their friends and they could back them up. But what they didn't account for is that it might be hard to figure out who's your friend when everyone is dressed exactly the same. So with the plans of the prank set in place, Andy and his friends depart from his home and head to the Nassau Coliseum. And on the ride to the arena, they are not even really sure if the promotion is even real, or if they will even be let in with the dollar store Santa costumes that they have on. But when they arrive into the parking lot, they see hundreds of Santas all lined up outside of the box office. The overall estimate is that about 500 people all dressed up as Santa and got free tickets to the game that night, which is double the amount of Santas that the Islanders had expected to show up, with them estimating that it would only be 250. So quickly this event is becoming a bit of a security concern, which in my own experience going to games, I have seen people sneak beers in the hoods of their jackets or up a sleeve, so I can only imagine what these Santas are packing in their bellies. It's probably a whole 12-pack of beer. But this is what the Islanders had promised them, and the Santas were gonna get their way. But only time would tell if they would be naughty or nice.
It's the Philadelphia Flyers and the Islanders in a special holiday pregame is straight ahead.
So 500 Santas are now storming the cramped halls of the Nassau Coliseum, with them heading to their seats, which were absolutely unbelievable because they gave them seats basically right behind the glass. So for the entirety of the game, you just see a whole bunch of Santas littered all across the crowd. And I can only imagine the reaction of a person who didn't know about the promotion that night, flipping on the game and wondering if it was being broadcasted from the North Pole. There's even one kid with a Santa hat that keeps blocking the camera every time something exciting happens. The game on the ice would be a 0-0 tie after the first period, and with the players shuffling to their locker rooms for the intermission, the ice crew would get the stage set for the Santas to parade. Andy, his friends, and all 500 Santas would be crammed into the Zamboni corner, waiting for the gates to be open. And when they did, it was... I guess you're looking at it right now. The Santas would march across the ice, chanting "Let's go Islanders" and waving to their family in the crowd. And of course, the Islanders, being so incompetent, would have just one arena operations guy trying to herd the entire crowd as if they were cattle. And as the Islanders' sales and marketing team is probably watching from the press box, they are in awe of what they have accomplished. And it's probably a Christmas miracle to them that it hasn't gotten out of hand yet. But that is where Mike and Rob come in. It is time for their plan to be executed. They rip off their oversized red cloths and reveal their Ranger affiliation, absolutely sending the crowd into a frenzy, booing them all across the ice. So with all of the boos raining down, the other Santas are wondering what the commotion is. So they turn around and see the enemy spies that are behind them. And right at this exact moment, Andy thinks it might be a good way to get a rise out of the crowd to playfully push his friend. But the other Santas, not realizing that Andy was one of their friends, start pushing and shoving Mike and Rob a lot less playfully than Andy had, with Mike and Rob just being completely confused at who was even attacking them now. In fact, at some point, Mike is just getting manhandled by a 9-year-old. Somehow, the one arena operations guy is able to get the whole thing under control and get all of the Santas off the ice. And as they're heading off the ice, Rob, Mike, and Andy are all expecting to be grabbed by security and shipped off to some drunk tank in the cellar of the arena and probably banned from the Coliseum for life. But to their surprise, nobody grabs them. They just head back to their seats behind the net and get to watch the entirety of the rest of the game. The Islanders would score 3 goals in the third and win the game, sending all of the Santas home happy with a great story to tell at the Christmas dinner table. While Andy, Mike, and Rob would go viral, or at least early 2000s viral. The event would be featured in the New York Times, it would be the first thing you would see on SportsCenter in the morning. It would also get a great laugh by Sam Rosen, the Rangers announcer, when he saw the clip right after Christmas.
The Islanders Santa's got him. Look at the little guy getting him.
Even the players would get in on the fun, with one Rangers defenseman, Darius Kasparaitis, remarking that an Islander fan would never do that because they simply don't have the guts to. Ultimately, the prank was received just the way they wanted it to be. It was just a playful jab by some young college kids that just wanted to have some fun. Even the Islanders, who were worried that they might be fined for this whole incident, got away scot-free. The night would fade into Islanders-Rangers history, becoming just another moment that showcased the rivalry between the two sides. And it's an event that MSG even put out a documentary for to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the night. I will link that video down below as it was a great research option for me, and it's also just very well produced and a great video. So definitely check that out if you enjoyed this. Lastly, if you made it all this way, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I hope you subscribe, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. And I wish you a happy new year wherever you are.